Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome to those of you watching on OneSpotMedia.com. A reminder as well that you can download our One Spot Media app from the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1 followed by the word Spot Media. The court system continues to battle with an overload of cases, with a 50% increase in court cases at the end of December 2017 when compared to the corresponding period in 2016. Speaking at the reopening of the Home Circuit Court on Monday, Director of Public Prosecutions, PAULA LLEWELLYN, reported that there are over 939 cases before the court for the Hillary term, which closes on March 23. This is up from 620 last year. But whilst there's an increase in the number of cases before the court, the DPP outlined that over 100 cases were disposed of in 2017. This means persons either pleaded guilty, were found guilty, or the cases were dismissed based on lack of evidence.
This is reflective of the implementation more and more of criminal case management and the agreed facts scenario where you are able to agree statements with defense counsel so you can cut the duration of the trial time.
Police investigators turned up to a suspected murder scene almost 24 hours after being called because of land slippages associated with recent heavy rains in Portland. The dead man has been identified as Linton Mackenzie of Olive Mount District in the parish. Reports indicate that shortly before 12 p.m. on Saturday, residents reported hearing loud explosions and summoned the police. However, due to roadblocks by landslides, the police could not enter the area until Sunday. The motive for the killing is not yet established. The cops are asking anyone with information that could help in the investigation to contact the Port Antonio Police or the nearest police station. The incident is the first murder for 2018 in the parish. Hundreds gathered on Monday evening for services honoring all the persons killed in the massive December Bronx blaze. Jamaicans Holt Francis, his wife Karen Stewart Francis, their daughters 2-year-old Kylie and 7-year-old Kelisha, and their 19-year-old cousin Shante Young were among the 13 people killed. They'll be buried in Jamaica following the Washington Heights service. Holt died 1 week after the fire. Another relative, Kadian Blake, who was pregnant, survived the fire. It was the deadliest blaze in New York City in more than 25 years. We have more from Pix 11 news station.
God, give me and my family strength to rise above, dear God.
They came together to mourn. Family members and complete strangers, united by a grief still so difficult to understand.
It's difficult to put one down, much less 5, and then it's the whole family. Not even the baby left for us to say this is for Karen. Nothing.
It's been 11 days. Emotions have ranged from absolute shock
This loss can never process
to complete sadness.
Dear God, for help. Not just my family, but the whole entire building.
Finally, this afternoon, the Francis Young family held a joint funeral service for 5 of their relatives. They had all just celebrated Christmas together, and then the unthinkable.
All right, people trapped apartment 13. We're getting a baby in there.
All 5 passed away in one of the deadliest fires in recent New York City history. Last week, their loved ones went back to the burned-out building to hold a candlelight vigil.
You're not aware of the love that is around until this happened, and there's so much outpour of love and support for us.
At today's funeral, they chose to focus on the good times. Shante Young was 19 and loved to help out with her little cousins. Holt Francis and wife Karen Stewart Francis were madly in love. They had 2 little girls. Kelisha was 7, and Kylie recently celebrated her 2nd birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Kylie.
News back home. MP for Central Clarendon Mike Henry has announced plans to fix some roads that have been affected by recent rainfall in the parish. Mr. Henry says work will begin in the section of Maypen where heavy rainfall caused flooding and restricted access to several schools.
Currently, I'm trying to make sure the road is as much as usable as possible for the taxis and the buses which will come down from Monday. and that I'll do most of that concentration of a minimum amount of money as Member of Parliament that I have in my resources, right, on this road, because the bigger expenditure should be coming in February, and I don't want to utilize funds, limited resources that don't need to be used at this point in time.
Mr. Henry says once that area is completed, he will then focus on other areas.
I have great concern for the schools that go up into the hills of Chapelton, because the road from Maypen to South Upturn is in a deplorable state. I'm going to look on it, but I'm asking the citizens to be as considerate as they can.
A new manual guiding healthcare professionals on how to deal with suspected cases of human trafficking has been launched. The Management of Suspected Victims of Trafficking in Persons Standard Operation Procedures, SOP, was created by the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons in Jamaica, along with the Ministries of Health and Justice. The document, a manual guiding healthcare professionals on how to identify and help suspected victims of human trafficking, was launched on Monday, as it is believed that these professionals are sometimes the first to see such cases. That's because the victims are often injured sexually or physically while being held by their captors and then taken to healthcare facilities for treatment.
And so it's very important that our healthcare workers engage in primary care, emergency care, mental health, pediatrics, and so on, are positioned to identify such persons, as well as not just persons who are actually involved or caught up in that kind of situation, but also to identify persons who are positioned to be exploited because of other reasons.
And Secretary in the Justice Ministry, Carol Palmer, notes that a recent report indicated that up to 88% of victims end up at a healthcare facility, and so the manual is critical in Jamaica's effort to stop human trafficking.
Trafficking victims are under the control of these awful human beings, and they can't walk by themselves. They can't go anywhere by themselves. So if they're not feeling well, it's the trafficker that's going to take them to get attention. This puts health professionals in a pivotal role to identify and assist trafficked individuals as well as those who may be at risk.
The document guides in the collection of pertinent information about identification, stabilization of patients, as well as rescuing the victim and bringing the perpetrators to justice.
These SOPs recommend that the authorities should not be called without the consent of the victim. In light of the potentially legitimate concerns regarding the well-being of victims and their loved ones. And that's a reality that a victim of human trafficking faces daily. On the other hand, this constraint does not apply in the case of children and adolescents who may require immediate placement in state care.
Craft vendors in Falmouth, Trelawney are this afternoon expressing disgust after their makeshift craft market was broken into by hoodlums and their items stolen. TVJ's O'Shane Masters tells us more.
We are not animals, we are human beings.
Barbara, one of the disgruntled vendors at the Falmouth Craft Market, after items including jewelry and clothes were stolen from their shops. They are blaming the authorities as the vendors were removed from the Falmouth Pier by the municipal corporation into the makeshift craft market. The vendors are upset that their seeming livelihood is being taken away from them.
And it look bad if you see you try to earn something and I want to try to steal your things. A wicked man.
We just stuck here, nobody to help us. Right? So we don't know where we go from here. And thief coming in now and robbing us.
I'm very sad and disgruntled because we have no security here. Even if we were to organize to get a security, there's no facility, no light, no public convenience, so there's nothing we can do.
One vendor theorized how the thieves might have gone into her shop.
At first, they cut the front part. It's like they cut it to see what inside the shop. So after they look now, they go on I figure more than less is the back they go and cut and come inside.
When asked, Mayor of Falmouth, Colin Gager, said he was not aware of the break-in. He, however, noted that he has heard about some concerns by the vendors.
They don't like where they are because they want to move to the new location, but the new location is under construction, and the new location is expected to be finished very, very early.
But even as vendors are counting their losses, the president of the Falmouth Art and Craft Vendors Association has another issue.
We are not feeling the nothing off the ship. We see the people keep coming and going. No direction to tell them that there is a local craft market out here.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
As the murder rate continues to spiral out of control, there is again a call for the nation to pray. State Minister in the Security Ministry, Colonel Charles Jr., at a morning of prayer and praise for the staff of the Fort Augusta Adult Correctional Center in Portmore, St. Catherine, said that the crime situation is out of hand. This as over 40 lives have been snuffed out since the start of the year. The State Minister noted that it's no longer the guns of men that are killing persons, but the brains of men.
The greatest weapon that is on this earth is within us. And the only thing that I believe that can stop the brain sometimes is the heart. And the heart must be wrapped up and must be filled with the right kind of elements. And that comes from us understanding that if we are not guided by the right spirit, then you are guided by the wrong.
He further stated that for crime to be reduced, persons must first value themselves. He says once that is done, the value of someone else's life will be seen.
Because if you value yourself, you're more likely to value another person. And if you value yourself, you're more likely to make a decision that shows and demonstrates that you value your community. And so that is something we have to do across 2018, every day, every month. You get up in the morning and you look in the mirror. First person you must value is you. When you pray, you ever pray for yourself? You know, I know people who go down on their knees and they pray for every God person. Dear Lord, please guide and protect my mother, my father, my wife, my brothers, my sisters, the community. All, even those evil who hate me. Amen. Pray for yourself.
And we go now to news in sports. Jamaica's Reggae Boys will play South Korea in a friendly international on January 30. Plans for the game to be played in Turkey were confirmed by the Jamaica Football Federation President Michael Ricketts. It will be Jamaica's first match of 2018 as they prepare for the CONCACAF League of Nations tournament set for September. As this match is not on a FIFA date, Ricketts says the game will be held in Turkey so that local players can be scouted by clubs in the Turkish Super League. This will be the fourth match between both teams, with Jamaica drawing one and losing twice in their previous 3 appearances against the 2-time Asian Cup champions. Now, the last time the two teams met in 2015, South Korea won 3-0. South Korea will be making their 10th World Cup appearance this summer and are in Group F, which includes World Cup champions Germany, as well as Sweden and Mexico. And that wraps up the midday news. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the prime time news package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.
Tuesday on the TVJ Schools Challenge Quiz, Victor Dixon High battles Holy Childhood High at 6:30 p.m. on your leading station, TVJ, and on OneSpotMedia.com. TVJ's Schools Challenge Quiz, brought to you by...
With our new 4-week quick bundles, you control your credit. Digicel.
best thing you can do for your child is prepare them for what's ahead. Give them a real head start. Open an NCB Start account today. Text START to 383-1729.
Right-click from Kingston Bookshop. Discover something new today.
Visit KB. All you need to know.
Juice you can enjoy whenever, wherever. I choose juice. Choose